The ocean was calm, but something strange was happening deep under the water. An earthquake had shaken the Pacific Ocean just 2 days ago. It wasn't big enough to cause a tsunami, but it left behind something unusual, something no one could explain. Dr. Mira stood on the deck of the research ship Blue Horizon, her eyes on the screen in front of her. She was a quiet and focused scientist, known for her deep knowledge of the sea. She had been leading underwater research missions for over 10 years, but this time, she felt something different. The signal they were receiving wasn't natural. Ravi, can you show the sonar image again? She asked. Ravi, her young and curious assistant, pressed a few keys and brought up the image. The screen showed a giant round object, nearly 100 meters wide, buried under the ocean floor. It's not a rock, Ravi said softly, and it's too perfect to be coral or shipwreck. Mira nodded. It looks made like a machine. The team had picked up the signal after the earthquake. It was a low hum, repeating every 10 seconds, coming from 5,000 meters below sea level. No one knew what it was, but it didn't match any whale sound, volcano activity, or undersea cable. It was something else. With approval from their science agency, they sent down a deep-sea drone equipped with lights and cameras. It took nearly an hour to reach the ocean floor. Moving carefully through the cold, dark water, everyone watched the live feed on the main screen. When the drone reached the target area, they all gasped. There was a large metallic surface, smooth and round, half covered by sand and rocks. Strange symbols were carved into its edge, glowing faintly in a blue light. The object was silent but alive in some way. Lights began to blink slowly, like it was waking up. It's a spaceship, Mira whispered. No way, Ravi said, stunned. Underwater? For how long? I don't know, Mira replied. But it's old, very old, and it's not dead. The ship's camera zoomed in on the symbols. They didn't match any known language, but some lines looked familiar, almost like ancient Earth scripts. Mira's heart raced. This could be the discovery of the century. They brought the drone closer, and the ship suddenly responded. A ripple of energy moved across its surface. The lights grew brighter. A low sound filled the ocean around it like a whale's call, but deeper, slower. The control room on Blue Horizon filled with static, and all communication screens blinked. Then a voice came through the speakers. It was slow, broken, and strange. Hello, blood of the stars, kin, awakened. Everyone froze. Did that thing just talk? Ravi asked, eyes wide. Mira didn't answer. She couldn't believe it either. The voice didn't sound human, but the words were clear. The machine, or whatever it was trying to speak to them. Mira quickly ordered the team to back the drone away, but not leave. They had to observe. The ship wasn't showing any signs of danger. It was just watching. At night, Mira sent a full report to the science agency, but she left out the voice part. Not because she wanted to hide it, but because she wasn't ready for the world to panic. The next day, things changed again. The spaceship moved, only slightly but enough to shake the water around it. Cameras showed parts of the outer shell opening like petals, revealing smooth silver plates and glowing symbols. Energy pulsed across its surface. It's not just a machine, Ravi said. It's alive in some way. Suddenly, a sphere of light rose from the ship and floated toward the drone. The sphere scanned it, then flew up toward the surface. Is it coming to us? Someone asked. The crew on the ship watched as the glowing sphere emerged from the water and hovered above Blue Horizon. It didn't attack or speak. It simply floated there, pulsing gently. Then it scanned the ship. It moved slowly, passing by each person, including Mira. When it reached her, it stopped. A line of text appeared in the air in front of her, clear and glowing. You are of Terra. You are our kin. The message faded, and the sphere returned to the water, vanishing beneath the waves. Silence fell. No one knew what to say. The next few hours were filled with quiet fear and amazement. Mira knew this was bigger than anything she had ever imagined. This ship, this message, it meant that humans were not alone. And more than that, someone out there believed humans were family. But who? That night, Mira sat in her small cabin, staring out at the dark sea. The stars above were quiet, but she felt them watching. "Ken," she whispered. What did that mean? Where did this ship come from? And who knew what was waiting out there for them? As the ocean slept and the ship beneath it pulsed gently, one thing was clear. The world had just changed forever. The morning sky was calm, but the crew of the Blue Horizon was not. Everyone on the ship had seen it. The glowing sphere that rose from the ocean. The message that said, "You are of Terra. You are our kin." No one could forget it. Dr. Mira stood on the upper deck, holding her tablet. Her mind was full of questions. What did the message mean? Who sent it, and why now? Ravi walked up beside her. "Mira," he said, quietly. "We decoded part of the signal. I think the ship is trying to talk more." She looked at him quickly. "You got more words?" He nodded and showed her the screen. The ship is repeating a simple pattern, not in sound but in light and data, like it's trying to find the right language. The screen showed symbols flashing, along with old writing systems from Earth Sumerian, Egyptian, and something that looked almost like Sanskrit. "It's mixing our old languages?" Mira asked. Ravi nodded. "Yes, like it's learning how to talk to us." That afternoon, Mira sent a second report to the science agency, but this time, the message was intercepted. News broke out. Within an hour, the media started reporting. Alien ship found in ocean. First contact may be happening. By evening, military helicopters circled the area. 3 Navy ships approached, demanding control of the site. But Mira stood her ground. "This is a science mission," she told the Navy officer. "The ship hasn't harmed us. We were the first ones it spoke to." The officer didn't argue. He simply said, "Stay alert. We don't know what this thing is." Suddenly, alarms rang across the deck. The spaceship below the sea began to rise. Everyone rushed to the edge of the ship. The water bubbled and glowed. Slowly, the massive round ship lifted from the ocean floor, breaking through the surface like a silver mountain. Waves crashed around it. Seagulls flew in panic. Cameras recorded every moment. The ship floated a few meters above the water. It didn't fly away. It didn't attack. It just hovered there, still glowing, still humming. And then another light appeared. A new message flashed in the sky. "We seek our cousins. Long forgotten, now found." The words were shown in English, then other languages, Chinese, Arabic, Spanish, Hindi. The whole world was watching. People across Earth froze in front of their televisions, phones, and computers. For the first time in history, something from beyond the stars was speaking to humanity. The next day, strange new ships appeared in Earth's orbit. They were not big, not threatening. They were silver and smooth, shaped like ovals with soft blue lights. They moved slowly and carefully, as if not to scare anyone. Satellites captured their arrival. Governments panicked. Some countries raised their defenses, others sent peace signals. But the alien ships didn't attack. They simply circled the planet, and then a larger one appeared, darker, older, with glowing edges. It sent a message to Earth. "We are the Kari. We come in peace. We seek the children of Terra." That same message appeared above the ocean ship. It was now clear. The underwater spaceship was from the Kari, and they had returned for a reason. Mira was invited to a meeting on the largest alien ship, which hovered just above the clouds. The world watched as a small pod descended to pick her up. She wore a clean white suit, her mind calm but alert. Ravi handed her a small device. "In case you need to record or translate," she smiled. "Thanks, I'll be back." The pod took her up silently. Through the clear walls, Mira saw the ocean below, the clouds around her, and then an opening in the sky. The alien ship, inside, the lights were soft, and the air smelled like rain. Waiting for her was a being taller than a man, with silver skin and long arms. Its face had gentle eyes, glowing faintly. It didn't look scary. It looked peaceful. "I'm Orun," it said in clear, though slightly robotic, English. "We welcome you, Mira of Terra." She stepped forward. "I'm honored. Why have you come?" Orun nodded and walked beside her. "We searched for a long time. Your planet, Terra, was one of our old colonies. You were left behind during a time of great war. We thought you were lost." Mira stopped. "Are you saying humans came from you?" Orin looked at her kindly. "In part, yes. Your DNA carries the mark of the Kari. You have grown. Different, but still close. Still family." She felt a chill. "Why now? Why come back?" "The sea shipped the Ark woke after your touch. It sent a signal. We heard it, and now we are here." Mira thought for a moment. "What do you want from us?" "Nothing," Orin replied. "We only wish to know you again. To share. To reconnect." Mira didn't know what to say. Her mind was racing as the pod returned. Her to blue horizon, the alien ships stayed in place. They made no move to attack. No threats. Just silence. But the world was no longer the same. People asked questions. Religious leaders debated. Scientists cheered. Some people were afraid. Others were hopeful. And in the middle of it all stood Dr. Mira, scientist, explorer, and now, the first human to speak with the stars. Back on the ship, Ravi looked at her with wide eyes. "Well?" he asked. She took a deep breath. They said, "We are cousins," she whispered. "Long-lost cousins." And with that, a new chapter for Earth had begun. The skies above Earth were no longer empty. Dozens of small alien ships floated silently in the upper atmosphere. The larger ships, sleek and dark with glowing lines, remained still above the Pacific Ocean. People all over the world watched with wide eyes and holding breaths. The news called it the Day of Visitors. On board the Blue Horizon, Dr. Mira stood by the railing, looking at the sky. The large alien ship, the one she had visited, was still there waiting. Orun, the alien she had spoken to, had promised peaceful intentions. But Mira knew the world would not stay calm for long. Ravi walked up beside her, his face worried. "The UN called. They want a full report. They also want us to stop communication with the aliens, at least until they decide what to do." Mira nodded slowly. "They're scared. I understand." The ocean below them was quiet. But above, in the clouds, one of the smaller alien ships slowly descended. It hovered only a few hundred meters above the sea. Lights blinked around its surface, and a soft hum filled the air. A beam of light shone from its bottom, creating a platform of soft blue energy just above the waves. 3 alien figures stepped onto it. They stood still, waiting. "They're coming here," Ravi said softly. Mira didn't hesitate. She sent a short message to the UN observers, then took the small boat with Ravi into crew members toward the platform. The closer they got, the more clearly they saw the visitors. The aliens looked similar to Oriental, graceful, with silver-gray skin and glowing eyes. But each one was slightly different. One had a longer neck, another had patterned skin that pulsed with color. They wore no armor, only simple robes made of strange, soft fabric. Mira stepped onto the platform carefully. One of the aliens stepped forward and placed a hand over its chest. "I am Viren," it said in smooth English. "We come in friendship. We wish to learn of your world and share stories of ours." Mira copied the gesture. "I am Mira. You are welcome here." Viren tilted its head. "You have grown without us. That is rare. You have done well." Mira felt a strange mix of pride and confusion. "Why did you leave Earth in the first place?" Viren looked up at the sky, as if remembering something long ago. "Long before your time, our people had a war. Some wanted to protect young worlds. Others wanted to control them. Earth was hidden, made quiet. But the sea ship you found, it still remembered. When you touched it, it called out. You didn't know we were still here?" Mira asked. "No," Viren said gently. "We believed Terra had been lost." Ravi stepped forward. "Why call us cousins?" Viren turned to him. "Because your kind is from our kind. You're family by creation, changed by time, but still one of us. That is why we feel joy, not fear." The words were simple, but they carried deep meaning. Mira realized something important. These aliens were not here to invade or take. They had come to reconnect. Back on the Blue Horizon, messages from all over the world kept coming. Some leaders asked Mira to stall the aliens, others demanded control over the mission. A few wanted to meet the Kari directly. Mira knew the world needed answers. So she made a decision. Will you allow a world team to visit your ship? She asked Viren. Viren nodded. Yes, let your people come. Within 2 days, a team of carefully chosen scientists, doctors, and diplomats from different countries arrived on the ocean platform. Mira led them onto the alien ship, where Orn welcomed them. Inside, the ship was peaceful. Its walls were smooth and curved, glowing softly. Strange plants grew in tall glass tubes. Floating orbs followed them, recording and translating. Orun guided them to a large room filled with holographic screens. This is your story, he said. With a wave of his hand, the walls lit up. Images filled the room: stars, planets, alien cities, and finally, Earth. Thousands of years ago, a ship had brought early life to Earth. The Kari had mixed their genes with life already forming. The goal was not to rule but to guide and watch. But war broke out in their home system. Earth was abandoned to keep it safe. What happened to the others? Asked a scientist from Brazil. They were lost or destroyed. Orun replied, You are the only ones who thrived alone. The room grew quiet. Mira stared at the glowing images of Earth from long ago. So we were forgotten? Orun nodded. Yes, but not anymore. Back on Earth, the news spread fast. Humans are part alien, say visitors. Reactions were mixed. Some celebrated, some were confused, a few feared it. But most of the world felt wonder. In schools, children drew pictures of the Kari. In temples and churches, people prayed for wisdom. Scientists opened discussions about Earth's early history and how much had been missed. For the first time in history, humanity was not looking at the sky with fear but with curiosity. Mira stood again on the deck of the blue horizon, looking at the alien ships above. We're not alone, she whispered. But we made it, we grew, we learned, and we survived. Ravi smiled. And now, we get to meet the family. Far above them, the alien ships floated quietly, like stars that had come home. The ocean ship, now called the Ark, floated silently. Just above the water, its surface glowed with gentle blue light, and strange patterns moved across its metal skin, like waves of memory trying to speak. Dr. Mira stood at the edge of the platform beside Orun, watching as the entrance slowly opened. She had visited before, but this time she was not alone. With her was a small team of scientists, historians, and engineers from many nations. They were the best minds Earth had to offer. We're ready, Mira said calmly. Orun gave a slow nod. Then come. The Ark remembers. They stepped inside. The ship's interior was wide and curved, made of smooth silver walls and floating lights. The air was clean, but held a quiet feeling, like entering a great library that had not been touched for ages. As they walked deeper, the lights followed, guiding them. This ship holds memory, Orun explained. Not just of our kind, but of yours too. At the center of the ship, they entered a large chamber. It was circular, with a tall dome and walls covered in crystal-like panels. These panels lit up as the team entered, displaying images and sounds. The crystals were storing history millions of years worth. Mira stepped closer to a panel, and a beam of light skinned her hand. Suddenly, the room came alive. A giant holographic image of Earth appeared in the center of the chamber. The planet looked different, less green, more wild, with no cities or lights. This is Earth, Orn said, from before your history began. The team watched in silence. The image showed a ship descending through the sky. It was not a weapon, it was a cedar. It carried life. Small machines moved across the surface, planting special cells and mixtures into oceans and soil. We brought life, Orn explained. But not alone. Your world was already forming. We only helped it grow faster. We blended Kari DNA with Earth's own life. You are both natural and guided. The scene changed. Now it showed early human-like beings living in small groups. They were learning to use tools, fire, and speech. Above them, a Kari ship floated quietly, watching but never interfering. We promised not to lead, only to observe. You were meant to grow free. But then what happened? Asked Ravi, who stood wide-eyed. Arun's expression turned serious. War. Not here, but far away. In our home, the Kari were divided. Some believed humans should be guided more closely, others believed in freedom. The conflict became too dangerous. The hologram changed again. Now it showed a space battle, huge ships firing bright energy across the stars. Planets burned. Moons cracked apart. It was chaos. To protect you, Orin said. We erased records of Earth. We hid it from the galaxy. And we left. The final image showed Earth again quiet, spinning alone in space. And you never returned, Mira asked. We were not allowed. The Kari fell apart. Many died. Others forgot. The Ark was the only ship left behind, sleeping, waiting. The room went silent. Mira stepped back, heart full of questions. Why does the Ark respond to us now? Because your kind touched it. Orin said, your blood carries old keys. Your mind carries energy we designed. The Ark knew you. It woke for you. Another panel lit up, this time showing human achievements, pyramids, space rockets, satellites, and deep-sea submarines. You grew strong, Orin said gently, without our help, without guidance. That is rare in the stars. One of the engineers, a woman from Japan, asked, are there others like us? Orin looked at the crystals. No, you are the only ones who survived alone. The others, their worlds were lost. That sentence changed everything. The scientists looked at one another. Earth wasn't just one of many, it was the only one. Humanity had made it where others had failed, without help, without advanced tools, without being watched. Mira felt something shift inside her, pride but also pressure. So what happens now? She asked. Orin stepped forward. Now, you choose. We can share knowledge, help your people grow faster, or we can leave and let you continue as you were. Mira thought about the wars, the hunger, the suffering still on Earth. But she also thought about music, kindness, courage, and invention. We have much to learn, she said, but also much to protect. We need time. That is wise, Orin said with a small bow. Time is yours. Suddenly, a warning light flashed across one of the walls. Orin moved quickly to the crystal. He pressed his hand to it, and a deep hum filled the room. What's wrong? Mira asked. The Ark is not fully healed, he replied. Some systems are broken, a security program still active. Before anyone could speak again, the floor shook slightly, metal walls closed. Behind them, in a voice not like a ruins, but colder spoke from the walls, unauthorized presence. Threat detected. Lockdown initiated. A ruin's eyes narrowed. The Ark thinks we are intruders. The lights turned red. From the shadows, mechanical shapes began to move. Old defense bots. Long asleep, now awake. Stay close, Orin said. I will speak to the core. As robots moved closer, Mira and the others backed away. Orin stepped forward, hands raised. He spoke in a language no human knew, and the machines paused. His voice echoed through the chamber, calm but strong. The lights slowly turned back to blue. The machines returned to their resting places. The doors opened again. The group let out a breath of relief. The Ark still holds old fears, Orin said, but it listens for now. Mira looked around the chamber at the images, the memories, and the sleeping machines. This ship was more than metal. It was a book, a history of two civilizations connected by time and choice, and Earth was not forgotten anymore. As they returned to the blue horizon, the sun began to rise. A new day was starting, and with it, a new understanding. Humanity was not just a planet of survivors. It was a world of origin. The world was no longer the same. News of the alien ship, the ancient connection, and the Ark's deep history spread across the planet. People everywhere were talking on streets, in homes, in schools, in churches. Every screen showed one headline after another. Humans part of an ancient race. Alien visitors call Earth their lost family. What does this mean for humanity? Dr. Mira returned to the blue horizon, tired but focused. She had seen the past inside the Ark. Now, she had to think about the future. Governments from around the world began sending official messages. Some asked for peace. Some asked for control. A few demanded the aliens leave Earth immediately. Fear was growing. Inside the ship's command room, Mira and Ravi were discussing the situation. Some world leaders are afraid, Ravi said. They think the Kari are hiding something. They're not hiding, Mira replied. They're just ancient, too different, and people fear what they don't understand. Ravi looked at the sky through the window. But we do have a choice now, to listen or to shut them out. Just then, a call came through. The United Nations had organized an emergency meeting. Mira was asked to speak live to all world leaders. Later that day, a secure video broadcast began. Mira stood in front of the camera, calm and honest. I speak not just as a scientist, she said, but as a human. I have seen what the Ark holds. I have spoken to the Kari. They do not want to rule us. They are not here to take our land or control our lives. They believe we are their cousin's family left behind long ago. Some faces on the screen nodded. Others remained hard and quiet. They shared their history. Mira continued. We were part of their past, but our future is still ours. We have survived without them. We have learned, built, and grown on our own. That is something they deeply respect. One leader from a large country spoke up. Dr. Mira, how can we trust them? What if this is a trick to gain control over Earth? Mira replied, I understand the fear, but they have made no demands, no weapons, no threats. They simply want to reconnect, to learn from us as we learn from them. The real question is not whether we can trust them. The question is, do we trust ourselves to handle this moment with wisdom? The room was quiet. Finally, the Secretary General of the UN spoke. Then what do you suggest? Mira looked directly at the camera. I propose a joint mission. Let a small team of humans and Kari explore the Ark together, learn from its systems, understand its technology, and decide, together, how to move forward. There was silence, then slow agreement. The mission was approved. Over the next week, a special team was formed, engineers, language experts, medical scientists, and space researchers gathered from all over the globe. They call it the Unity Team. Ravi was part of it. So was Mira. They would return to the Ark, but this time, not just to observe. This time, to work together. Inside the Ark, the Kari welcomed them. Orun stood beside Mira as the team walked through the glowing halls. You are ready, he said. Not completely, Mira replied with a small smile. But we're willing to try. The team split into groups. Some studied the ship's power systems, which used light and crystal energy unlike anything on Earth. Others worked on language translation, trying to map the Kari's script to human languages. Medical experts even examined Kari biology and found surprising matches to human DNA. But everything didn't go smoothly. On the fourth day, one of the older defense systems inside the Ark activated again. A protective wall dropped, locking part of the ship. The team inside was trapped. Mira and Orun rushed to the control chamber. Lights were blinking fast. A warning flashed across the crystal panels. Why is it doing this? Ravi asked. The Ark still remembers the war, Orun replied. It fears invasion even now. Mira stepped forward. Then we have to show that this is not war. This is peace. She placed her hand on the panel. The ship scanned her once again, like it did the first time. But this time, something changed. The panel glowed brighter. A soft sound filled the room. The locked doors opened. The defense system turned off. Everyone breathed in relief. Orun looked at Mira with quiet respect. You are the key now. Back on Earth, people watched the mission closely. Footage of Kari working side by side with humans filled the news. A young girl in Africa sent a video message that went viral. In it, she said, if we are cousins, we should not be afraid. We should learn from each other. I want to visit their planet one day. It touched millions. The world was beginning to change. One evening, Mira sat on the deck of the Blue Horizon. Watching the sunset, Orun stood beside her, silent for a moment. You do not fear us. He said no. Mira replied, I fear the mistakes we might make. Orun nodded slowly. That is wise. But you also have something powerful, hope. Mira smiled. We've always had it. It's how we survived. The ocean was calm. Above, The Kari ships shimmered in the fading light. Earth had responded, not with fear, not with war, but with questions, learning, and hope. And for the first time in thousands of years, the children of Terra were no longer alone. It had been 1 month since the Ark rose from the ocean. 1 month since the Kari called humans their long-lost cousins, and now Earth had a decision to make. In every country, in every city, people were talking. Should humans accept the Kari's offer and reconnect with the galactic community? Or should Earth stay quiet, hidden, safe from the unknown? Inside the United Nations headquarters, leaders from all over the world gathered for a final meeting. It was the most important decision humanity had ever faced. Dr. Mira stood at the center of the Great Hall. She wore a simple gray suit and a calm expression, but inside, she felt the weight of a planet on her shoulders. The Kari have given us a gift, she began. Knowledge, history, and a chance to become part of something bigger. But they have also given us freedom. They said we must choose. Some leaders nodded. Others looked unsure. A representative from a powerful nation stood. Dr. Mira, joining the galactic community could make Earth a target. What if there are enemies out there who hate the Kari? What if they come for us? Mira answered softly, that is a real risk, but is hiding the answer. We've already been found. The Kari did not bring war. They brought truth, and now we must decide how to live with it. Another leader spoke. What if we lose our identity, our culture, our ways? Will we become something else? No, Mira said. We decide who we are. They are not asking us to change, only to grow. A pause filled the hall. Everyone was thinking. Then a voice spoke from the back. It was a woman from a small island country. My people lived in fear for many years, storms, wars, and silence. But we learned that fear is not a home. Hope is. Maybe this is a storm, but maybe it's a sunrise. People looked at one another. Slowly, they began to speak with more calm, more clarity. In the end, the leaders agreed. The people of Earth should decide. A global vote was planned. The question was simple. Should Earth begin peaceful contact with the greater galaxy, guided by the Kari? For 1 week, the planet held its breath. People talked, listened, debated. Some feared losing control. Some feared attack. But many felt wonder. The idea of connecting with other worlds, learning faster, ending hunger, curing disease, it lit something inside people. Mira watched the world with quiet hope. Ravi stood beside her on the deck of the Blue Horizon. Do you think they'll say yes? He asked. Mira smiled gently. I think people are ready for something more. The day of the vote arrived. In every country, people lined up or used their devices to make a choice, old and young, rich and poor, from mountains, deserts, cities, and islands. Voices joined in one simple act. By evening, the results came. 87% of the world said yes. Earth had chosen. That night, fireworks lit the sky, not for war, but for a new beginning. Strangers hugged in the streets, children painted stars and spaceships, scientists cried with joy. Mira stood again before the camera. She spoke with a warm heart. We have chosen not to be afraid. We have chosen to walk forward, together. The Kari responded with a glowing message in the sky. Visible around the world, the children of Terra have returned to the stars. Welcome home. In the days that followed, Earth and the Kari began to prepare for the next steps. A great hall was built on a floating platform in the Pacific, near the Ark. It would become Earth's first interstellar embassy. The Unity team expanded. New young minds joined, translators, builders, teachers, doctors, all ready to help Earth understand and prepare. Orn met with world leaders. He gave them information about other peaceful species, safe technologies, and new medicines. He never forced anything. Every offer came with a simple line, only if you choose. Earth's space agencies began working with Kari engineers. Plans for Earth's first starship began. It would be small, safe, and ready in a few years. Its mission, to visit the Kari homeworld. Mira was named Earth's first ambassador to the stars. She didn't celebrate. She didn't hold a big speech. She simply stood by the sea, Looking at the stars above, Ravi walked up behind her. They voted for something beautiful, he said. Mira nodded. We've been looking up at the sky for thousands of years, wondering if someone was out there. And now that we know, we said yes. Ravi smiled. Do you think the galaxy is ready for us? Mira chuckled. No, but we're ready for it. Far above the Earth, in the silent sky, the Kari ships began to send out a signal. A gentle wave of light, carrying Earth's answer across the stars. A message that would echo in the galaxy. We are here. We are ready. We remember who we are. And for the first time, Earth was not just a blue dot in space. It was a voice, a choice. A new star rising in the story of the universe. The stars above Earth were no longer quiet. They were full of signals, now soft pulses of light, messages in strange shapes, and voices that carried across space. Earth was no longer a silent world. It had spoken, and others were starting to listen. In the middle of the Pacific, the Orcs still floated like a sleeping guardian, glowing gently round it. The new space embassy stood like a shining ring. Flags of many nations waved side by side. Humans and Kari walked together across the wide bridges, working, learning, and planning. Inside the control center, Dr. Mira stood by a large window, watching a new ship being built. It was Earth's first true starship, made with both human tools and Kari knowledge. It was smaller than the Ark, but shaped for travel between stars. It had no weapons, only sensors, labs, and living quarters. Its name, Unity 1. In a few days, it would launch toward the Kari homeworld. Ravi entered the room, holding a data pad. Engine tests are complete, he said. Everything's green. We're almost ready. Mira nodded. She had been chosen to lead the first crew. It was a mix of Earth's best scientists, engineers, and diplomats along with two Kari guides. She looked at the ship, floating in the air. Do you think the galaxy is watching us? Ravi smiled. They probably already know we're curious. Loud too. Mira chuckled. Good. Let them hear us. That night, a quiet farewell ceremony was held. It wasn't grand. There were no gold banners or loud speeches. Just soft music, warm lights, and the voice of Earth carried by song. Elders from ancient tribes spoke beside young scientists. A poet from South America read a short verse. A child from Kenya gave a small drawing of Earth to one of the Kari travelers. We hope they hang it on a wall somewhere far, she said with a smile. The next morning, Unity 1 rose into the sky. People watched from every corner of the world's rooftops. Beaches, fields, cities. They waved, they cried, some prayed. Others simply smiled. For the first time, humans were not just sending messages to the stars. They were going there. The journey to the Kari homeworld would take 3 weeks. The ship used Kari light drive, which folded space carefully around it. Inside the ship, everything worked smoothly. Human and Kari systems blended well, like puzzle pieces that had waited a long time to meet. Mira often sat near the observation dome, looking out at the stars. She kept a journal, writing in short lines. Day 4. Stars moved slower than dreams. Day 9. Ravi made a joke about Kari cooking. It was crunchy. Day 12. I wonder if they'll be like us, or totally different. One evening, Orun sat beside her. You are quiet, he said. Mira looked at him. I'm thinking about what we might find. About how they'll see us. They will see you as we do, Orun said calmly. Cousins. Lost and found. She nodded slowly. It's still hard to believe. We were forgotten. And now we are being welcomed. You survived, Orun said. That is a story worth hearing. On the 21st day, the stars changed. A large blue planet appeared ahead, surrounded by glowing rings and smaller green moons orbiting. It were great cities and space Kari stations that shimmered like crystals. Unity 1 slowed and approached carefully. A signal came through. Welcome, travelers of Terra. Your family awaits. As the ship entered orbit, Mira and the others looked out in awe. The Kari homeworld was not full of metal towers or dark machines. It was green, with bright oceans, giant trees, floating lights, and soft clouds. Nature and technology lived together here. A transport pod came to greet them. It was shaped like a petal and glowed with soft yellow light. Mira and the crew stepped inside. It brought them down gently through the clouds. They landed in a wide-open valley, full of tall grass and silver-leaf trees. Waiting there were Kari, of all kinds, young, old, tall, short. Some had wings, others long fingers or glowing skin. But all of them smiled. One stepped forward. She wore robes of light and carried a staff made of stone and crystal. "I am Scifi, keeper of memory," she said. "We welcome you, kin of Terra." Mira bowed her head. "We thank you." Scifi walked with them through the valley. Small Kari children ran alongside, laughing. Some held earth flags in their hands. "You are not the first to come home," Scifi explained. "But you are the first to come alone, with no hand pulling you. That is special." They reached a great tree with golden bark. Beneath it stood a circle of stone, glowing softly. "This is the memory ring," Scifi said. "It will show us your story, as you saw ours." Mira stepped forward. She placed her hand on the stone. Images rose into the air, Earth's wild history. The first fire, the first city, wars, peace, love, music, rockets, paintings, laughter, pain, hope. The car stood silent, watching. Then Scifi spoke, voice full of warmth. "You are not only our cousins. You are strong. You are wild. You are full of stories." And then the Kari did something unexpected. They sang. It was not in a human language, but Mira understood the feeling. It was a song of welcome, a song of return, a song that said, "You are home now." Even among the stars, Mira looked at her crew, at Ravi and Orn. She looked at the sky. The journey had begun with an old ship under the sea. Now it was written across the stars. And Earth, small, brave, beautiful Earth, was no longer just a planet. It was part of something greater. Not lost, not forgotten, but remembered, respected, and finally, truly home.